Hare Krishna. Yes. So, welcome all the devotees for this study of the Bhagavad Gita. Currently, we are in the Bhakti Yoga section and middle 6 chapters, 7 through 12. So, now, today onwards, we will be seeing chapter 12, devotional service, that is Bhakti Yoga. So, Bhakti is so simple that the chapter itself is very small. So easy to understand, not to have so much of Krishna's put it just in 20 verses, or all that what one needs to be. He just mentions wonderful qualities. He mentions the superiority of bhakti over impersonal Brahman worship, and how does he deliver those who are practitioners. So he himself takes them back. As simple as the distinct lines. And then he gives a hope of, if you cannot do the highest, at least do this, do this, do this. So there's multiple layers also he provides. That's the beauty. So before I begin this chapter, I express my deepest gratitude from the core of my heart to all my teachers, and in particular His Grace Nani Krishna Prabhu, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, His Grace many other teachers who taught us, and His Grace Radheshan Prabhu, to one's own spiritual master, and His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, and the previous acharyas, so that I can speak for my own purification, for the glorification of the Lordships, and the service and glory of you. So, this is wonderful verse from the Gita, Mahatmya. All of you know it. Sarvopanishado gavo dogda gopala nandana parthavatsa sudhir bhokta dugdam gita amritam mahat. So this verse, Gita, is also called as Gita Upanishad. Of all the Upanishads, the difficulty to understand Upanishads, Gita Upanishads is actually the essence of all the Upanishads. And it is compared to a cow, Sarva Upanishado Gao. Gao, that cow is the cow. And when a cow is there, we all know that there will be what do you call it? One who's milks the cow. Usually cow gives the milk. So that milk is the essence of the cow. Similarly, Lord Krishna is that Gopalanandana, the famous cowherd boy, who's milking this cow of the Upanishads. And for whom? For the calf, Parthovatsa, for the calf like Arjuna, or for all the devotees who wants to drink the same milk what Arjuna was taking directly, what Krishna was providing him. So even the devotees, like all of us, also, we are given that opportunity to drink. It's an unending milk. Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdam Gita Amrita. So what is that milk? It is this nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. That is when Krishna, Dugdam, it's compared to milk, Gita Amritam, the glorious. The Gita Amrita, the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. So that's a glorification of this wonderful verse from Gita Mahatmya. So, just share this screen, that which is already sent to you. So, hope everybody already has that split of the overview of this chapter.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have sent it.
Can you please enable me to share the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji. Enabled, Prabhuji.
Yes. So this is what it is saying to all of you. Okay. Chapter 12, Overview Devotional Service. So this is Bhakti Yoga. Although all the 6 chapters are, in a sense, dealing about Bhakti Yoga, but this is in particular, you'll find exclusive Bhakti has been spoken in this chapter. And so 1 to 7 talks about the worship of the impersonal form as a superior to the, or the personal form is superior to the impersonal Brahman worship. So we don't at any given point of a time need to have any doubt about it, because the question is aptly asked by Arjuna. Where is the reference where we sometimes we keep on searching this impersonal. Right in Bhagavad Gita, right in the heart of 12th chapter, it is Arjuna asks straight question, which is superior to what, or which is best. Krishna answers straight. There is no what you call ambiguity. One who wants to, no need to get confused, no need to get very clear. Even somebody asks, we just quote these verses and ask for an explanation. It is one of the biggest, this thing, first few. And then Krishna also makes it very clear in 1 to 7. How do they worship? And how is the path? Is it easy or difficult? And what will be the destination? He makes very clear in the 7 verses. So beautiful. This section, one has to, if need be, you. The whole 12th chapter is so wonderful that one can remember all the verses. Or at least, if you want to have a defending argument anytime, these verses are sufficient, at least for the beginners. And of course, there is a deeper philosophy, even with the impersonalists, they have their own philosophy deeper in order to counter argue. This game keeps on going. There's never ending for that, because logic is such a thing. You bring and somebody else bring another logic. Somebody else also screws down another logic. So there's no limit for that. That's why, because the thing is itself is inconceivable. The Lord is not so easy to be conceivable by one's logic, or we cannot bind by our intelligence. What intelligence or what logic one will use? Max, the material logic or material intelligence. That's it. That which springs from material intelligence. But Lord is beyond that. So there is a question. Even his personal form is beyond the logic. What to speak of impersonal aspect? So then 8 to 12, Krishna is so merciful. Now somebody may say, okay, Bhakti is so easy, but even that becomes very difficult for one to practice Shuddha Bhakti. Krishna said, okay, he's so merciful. He like puts the rope. Somebody in the well, we know that, puts the rope. He's so merciful. He's putting the rope. He said, I cannot catch it. I cannot do anything. He said, okay, then at least he throws the bucket also along with that. You sit in the bucket. And then Lord is ready to, at least you be peaceful and sit in that bucket. I mean, is that the whole point is this. He's ready to put that ladder or put that rope of bhakti. If not pure bhakti, you do at least sadhana bhakti. If not this, you at least do this. If not this, you at least do this. So he gives that layers of hope for anybody to take what you call to the Shuddha Bhakti. So that is the progressive stages of bhakti. And somebody is able to not perform that, then what else? Krishna at least advises, okay, at least take this path so that in future at least you may come to my path. So merciful. So, and then 13 to 20, he just describes these qualities that endear one to Krishna. The whole verses he will use. Such a priya, such a kind of devotee is very dear to me. Who has this qualities? Such a devotee is very dear to me. So he who has this qualities, such a devotee is. Whole verses, if you see, so wonderful. Krishna says that he is very priya to me. He is very priya to me. He is very priya to me. That means that is talking about pure devotees who have these qualities. But for a sadhaka, these are the qualities one has to develop or one has to aspire for over a period of life. So that section is for, if you see that section, it is talking about pure devotees, they have these qualities. That's why they are very dear to Krishna. And for the sadhakas, that's what they are supposed to reach to. That's what they are supposed to adopt to. That's what they are supposed, so that they can also be, they can also please Krishna. So that is what we'll talk about. So this is the overview of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. 1.7, worship of personal form is superior to impersonal Brahman, aspect of worship. 8 through 12, progressive stages of Bhakti. Of course, this progressive stages is not that, what we hear, Ado Shraddha Tada Sadhu Sam. That is stages in pure Bhakti. Those are stages. Once one who has accepted pure Bhakti, in the pure Bhakti, those are stages. This is talking about the general stages. If this you cannot do this, if you cannot do this. So there's a difference between. Don't think that as a progressive stages of Bhakti. 13 to 20 will talk about the qualities that I already said. Fine, we'll go through the verse now. Okay. So since it is Bhakti Yoga section, many of you been practitioners of Bhakti Yoga from so many years. So this section should go very easy for all of you without difficulty, because all of you are well aware of the principles of Bhakti. So, yeah. Hopes everybody is able to see the screen. Okay, chapter 12, devotional service. Yeah. Arjuna vacha evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam pariyupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama. Okay. Yeah. May I request Aradhan to.
Translation. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
So, question is very clear and straight. Tesham, of them, means of the two, the bhaktas and the one who was the aksharama bhaktas, means one who was worshipping the impersonal aspect, the unmanifested aspect. K yoga vittam, of them, who's superior? He's making very clear contrast. Who's superior? Please tell that to me. So what is he saying? Okay. Who's that? Which worshipper is better? Pariyupasate. Those the bhaktas, satata yuktaye, those who always worship, those who basically worship your personal form. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam pariyupasate. Is that, or ye cha api, or the ones who worship the unmanifested form. So Arjuna, after hearing the Virat Rupa in chapter 11, Arjuna has asked this question about the impersonal aspect, about the absolute truth. So the Gita's middle 6 chapters, they surely at the beginning set emphasis for bhakti, and this is the 12th chapter. It is also coming as a conclusion for bhakti. So he wants to just have it, because in many previous chapters also he heard different kind of yogis, different kind of things. Even in right from the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita also says he has felt different kinds. Other than he want to just clarify this aspect also, because which is very prominent. Which is very prominent. So he is asking that, which is, so this is a straight question Arjuna is asking. Which aspect of the worship is better, or which worshippers are better? That is very clear. Yoga Vittam. So that's what he makes it clear. Yeah. Okay, please read us.
Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal, and the universal, and has described all kinds of devotees and yogis.
Yeah, this is
Generally,
referring to previous chapter, universal form, or in the other chapters, different kinds of devotees, mixed devotees. This, so all that things is referring to. Okay.
Generally, the transcendentalist can be divided into two classes. One is the impersonalist, and the other is the personalist. The
So this is a
personalist
broad category. And the whole broad category, if you want to separate, see, there are many ways to categorize. Sometimes we feel only, no, many ways to categorize. But the broad category, even if a broadest category, if you take two categories, what is that? Okay, one was the impersonalist, one was personalists. Because both of them want to go beyond this material existence. They understand this place is not a place. So that is the reason they are called as transcendentalists. That is a meaning. But in broad, now in that broad category, many under subcategories may be there. But the broad category is this. So personalist and impersonalist. Okay.
The personalist devotee engages himself with all energy in the service of the Supreme Lord. The impersonalist also engages himself not directly in the service of Krishna, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman that manifested.
Yeah. So that is a contrast, very clear. Okay.
Those who worship the
Right.
Supreme Lord directly by devotional service are called personalist. Those who engage themselves in meditation on impersonal Brahman are called impersonalist. Arjuna is here questioning which position is better. There are better ways to realize absolute truth, but Krishna
Different
indicates
ways.
different. There are different ways to realize the absolute truth, but Krishna indicates in this chapter that bhakti yoga or devotional service to him is the highest of all. It is the most direct, and it is the easiest means for association with the Godhead.
That thing will be made very clear by the Lord. Of course, the same thing which I was saying in the second chapter, this thing was very clear. Seventh chapter, this thing is clear. Eighth chapter, sixth chapter, also in the previous chapter, it is referring. All things are clear. Okay.
And so, factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now, Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. In other words, he is clarifying his own position because he is attached to the personal form of Krishna.
How do we know
He is
he's
not
attached to the
attached.
personal form of Krishna?
Hmm.
How do we know? Anyone? How do we know that he is attached to the personal form of Krishna? Yes, Sumit Prabhu.
Because when Lord was showing the this Vishwaroop form, actually that time he wanted to see the 200 form
Mhm.
project.
Yes, very good. That's it. And personally, that he wanted, that was his desire. It's very clear. So it is coming from there. There, he did not say that. Show me your impersonal form. I am attached to that, or that which is within you, something like that, which has been concocted by me. Yeah. So that is what it is. Yeah. Because he wants to make it clear. Because surely, no, that era, even now, the aspect of impersonal aspect is very prominent. And so he wants to clarify that. So, okay.
He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. He wants to know whether his position is secure. The impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord, is a problem for meditation.
Mhm.
Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time?
Mhm.
Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is best because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time. There was no disturbance to his love for Krishna.
See,
This
this
important
is that
question.
answer that is coming. What do you call? That is the answer coming as what Sumit Prabhu said. I'll read little slow. As usually, whenever full stop comes, try to be little slow there so that if I want to say something, I get something to speak for.
Okay, fine. This important question of Arjuna, asked of Krishna by Arjuna, will clarify the distinction between the impersonal and the personal conceptions of the absolute truth.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is making very clear. Now, so the flow goes. Next, immediately Krishna answers. He puts the question, and there's no ambiguity in between. Direct, straight, with full clarity, Krishna gives. First, he talks, he makes it very clear, first of all, the answer itself. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Maya Veshya Mano Yemam, Nitya Yukta Upasate, Shraddhaya Paryopetas, Te Me Yukta Tama Mataha. It is the mata of the Lord. You see, what is his mata? Yes, Sumit Prabhu.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Those who fix their mind in my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect."
So he's saying that Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Mayaveshya Manoema, whose mind is completely Aveshya, absorbed in me, me only. He's nowhere telling my impersonal form. He's not telling Mam. He's very making Nitya Yukta Upasate. Upasate is they worship. They want to worship. They want to come to me. With what? Shraddha. Not normal Shraddha. Paryo, Para. Great Shraddha. Te me Yukta Tama. This Yukta Tama, this is what it is. They are superior. You see, Yukta Tama, what Prabhupada, most perfect. Because previously he asked, among the two, who's the, what do you call, which is the perfect? He asked. Yoga Vittamaha, he uses the word Yoga Vittamaha. So among the two yogis, or which is the most perfect yogi? Like that. This is what this yogi is. Yogatama, Yuktatama, he says that. Is that. You see, Yuktatama, most perfect in yoga. And whose mata it is? It is not your mata. It is not my mata. It is not the mata of anybody and everybody. It is the mata of the Supreme Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita. He is even telling, this is my opinion. And his opinion carries weight. So whose mata we have to see? So even somebody talks, sometimes people talk many things, but whose mata is that what you are talking about? Is it Krishna's mata? That we have to ask the question. That's why answer is so precise, so clear. Because immediately after that, he will contrast with those who are worshippers of, what do you call, the unmanifested. What is the quality of that unmanifestation? And what are the qualification of the one who wants to worship that form? Form is, it doesn't have any form, sorry. That formless and manifested Brahman aspect. Yes, bro, read it.
In answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one in such Krishna consciousness, there are no material activities because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is a constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks prasadam or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna.
Avyartha Kalapram. That is one of the qualities
Such,
of the, what do you call, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu later. Once you are studying, you will study that. Avyartha Kalapram. Yes. It doesn't waste a moment. That's what his absorption is. Sometimes we find very difficult how time is not passing. For us it becomes difficult. Time pass nahi ho raha hai, kya kare? Bhakti chhod ke aur kya kar sakte hain? That's what it is. Of course, when I'm saying bhakti chhod ke aur kya kar sakte hain, it has double meaning. So if you can understand both the meanings. Bhakti chhod ke aur kya kar sakte ho aur bhakti chhod ke aur kya kar sakte ho. So hopefully you could catch it. Okay, such action is in full samadhi. Now, what kind of samadhi? That is also again a question. Fine. So Krishna makes it very clear. Now, Krishna, third and fourth verse and fifth verse, these three things, he makes it very clear. And then in sixth and seventh, he will make it. First, he will place three, fourth, and fifth. What is that unmanifested form? That he will talk about qualities, and then he will tell about directly. How do those people want to worship him? What do they do? That's like the worshippers of that Brahman aspect that is good. So this verse is talking, third verse is talking about the aspects or the attributes of the impersonal Brahman. And this verse is talking about those who are worshippers of that. What is that generally they do, or what is that qualities that they have? Only this much he will talk. But for devotees, the qualities and everything he will talk at length. That is from 13 to 20 verses. So yeah. Ye tu aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam संन्यामेन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूताहिते रताः. Okay. Yeah. Just yeah, Mandar Prabhu, can you read? There you go. Mandar Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Lord.
Yes, yes.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me.
So he says that they also prapnuvanti mameva. They also achieve me. Of course, they achieve means is not that they also achieve Krishna. They achieve Krishna in his impersonal aspect. That is the meaning. They also achieve me, and that too, how do they achieve? With a great difficulty. And the process itself is very. Who says that Krishna only will do this? Kleshvadikaraste. He will say, he will come in the next verse. It is so much difficult and so much troublesome processes, and so much suffering is involved in that. That's what Krishna says it. Klesha, it is troublesome. But they take the trouble. What to do? But they were obtained, prapnuvanti, not personal form. Right? They are upasakas, they are worshippers of the impersonal form. Why will they choose? Krishna mean to say is because that is my impersonal aspect. That also, that's how they will attain. And what are generally their qualities? Sanniyamendriya gramam. Indriya gramam means the group of senses or the senses, basically. Controlling one's own senses. One who controls means they do this aspect. They have a process of controlling the senses. And sarvatra samabuddhaya. They are equipoised, equal in dealing with all the living entities and everything. Sarva bhuta hitereva. They work for the welfare of other living. Work in the sense they have welfare. They see for the welfare of other living. It means this is their overall characteristics. That's what. Who are the upasaks of? Who are the upasaks of this? What is this? That which is aksharam. That which is aksharam means, or what do you call, infallible or beyond the senses to be understood. That which is arnidesham is very difficult to describe. Or and avyaktam, unmanifested. Paripasata is just worship. Sarvatragram is everywhere. Achintya, it's difficult, it is inconceivable. That which is kutastham, it is unchangeable, means it is always same in all phases of time. Achalam, not changing, no increase, no decrease. Or what do you call? You don't find the changes of 6 symptoms, what we find in a conditioned soul. So there is nothing like that. That's achal. It doesn't, dhruvam, it is fixed or it is eternal, whatever you say. So this is what is, because personal form, it is easy to say. Okay, it is, it's very easy. We can see he has 2 eyes, it is all that thing description. Similar, but akshara, this is how the Brahman has been described. That which is aksharam, anirdesham, avyaktam, sarvatragam, achintyam, kutastam, achalam, dhruvam. Then who wants to, those who are endeavoring to control their senses, those who have equipoised nature towards everybody, who look for the welfare of all living entities, those people who worship. So that's how it has been explained. Okay. Here I have not taken it much. Yeah, here. Can you read this?
If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he has to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings.
Hmm.
It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna, otherwise, there is no perfect realization. Often, there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him.
The point is, even these people, they should have at least a what do you call the attitude towards Krishna should be better. We say that they take some small elements of bhakti as a secondary aspect. Sometimes, so that's why sometimes you will find this impersonalists also chanting the holy name, or what you call worshipping the deities also. So sometimes we may feel but these are only their means. This is not their goal. This is only the means. For a devotee, it's not that our deity is a means to achieve something else. No. Our worshipable deity is Vrindavan Chandra. Later, after this life, also we want to worship the same personality. We want to worship. So some aspects of what do you call bhakti has been taken, because without bhakti, no other process, no process can be successful. That is very clear. So even these people, if they get the association of some pure devotee and they are ready to accept it, then surely they can also become personalists, no doubt about it. But usually uh, they have their own understanding. So that itself is also very strong conditioning, you can say. So it's not so easy for one to leave that. So he makes it very clear. Now he talks about, you see, Prabhupada writes it. For the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. Obviously, no, because it's difficult to define, difficult to the senses cannot be engaged. How you'll even meditate upon it. Actually, you have to meditate upon nothing in one sense. See, to get rid of vacuum is very easy. But to create a vacuum is very difficult. Of all of you know, in science, in industries also, to create vacuum is very difficult. Even after that, some amount of something is always there. It becomes very difficult. To create zero absolute vacuum is very, very difficult. But to destroy vacuum is very easy. That means the point is this: to engage the senses is very easy because they have the nature to engage. But to withdraw the senses at the same time, not to engage them in anything at the same time, engage them in something which is what you call manifest, all that becomes very difficult. So it's a laborious task. That's why Krishna immediately tells the kleshodika adhikatarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham devat bir avapyate. Okay. So he uses the words very strongly. Okay, our yeah. Shrikar Prabhu, can you read?
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
Yeah. Kleshodhikarastesham. For whom, one whose chetasa, one whose mind is absorbed in that impersonal form, klesha, it's troublesome, adhikarastesham, for them, very troublesome. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham, even, what do you call it, it's very dukkha. For whom deva avadvir, say, one who's embodied. Why? Because when we are embodied, we are used to use this body, use this senses, everything, and suddenly you are told to this process. Actually, you are not supposed to engage. Can you imagine the kind of trouble someone has to take not to engage one's senses in anything, and at the same time meditate upon that which is what you call nothing? It's a very troublesome. Even to conceive itself is very troublesome, because there is nothing to conceive even. So it is so troublesome. So he said, right, in the process itself is very troublesome. Even the gati afterwards, you don't get the personal form of the Lord. You completely get the impersonal aspect of the, even the gati itself is very low in that sense. So Krishna is very clearly making it. See here, please read.
The group of transcendentalists who
Yeah, Vaibhav.
Follow the path of inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord are called Jnana Yogis, and persons who are in full Krishna consciousness engaged in devotional service to the Lord are called Bhakta Yogis. Now, here the difference between Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga is definitely expressed. The process of Jnana Yoga, although ultimately bringing one to the same goal, is very troublesome. Whereas,
Same goal in the sense, not that they also reach Krishna. They also reach Krishna's impersonal aspect. That's the meaning of when you say same goal. One should not take it as thinking same goal is okay. Ultimately, through that also they reach Krishna and we reach Krishna. No, that is not the meaning. Goal in the sense of they get their goal of impersonal aspect of Krishna. That's what they are meditating.
whereas the path of Bhakti Yoga, the process of being in direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is easier and is natural for the embodied soul.
Why it is easier and natural, Srikar Guru? And
Uh, because we can relate,
don't relate. We can relate it what?
like uh, we have the form similar to the Lord, and we can like meditate upon his form easily as we are similar to his form. And also like rendering personal service would be more joyful and rejoicing and some lot of satisfaction in this.
Yeah, basically, the senses have a tendency to engage, and you have a tendency to engage. Only thing, the object of engagement is different, right? That becomes easy. That is why it becomes easy. Whereas you have to withdraw your senses in the other path. So that's why it is very troublesome. Prabhupada talks about the deity worship aspect. Yes, it aspect. So just taking this. You can read this also. Till here you can read.
The individual soul is embodied since time immemorial. It is very difficult for him to simply theoretically understand that he is not the body. Therefore, Bhakti Yogi accepts the deity of Krishna as worshipable because there is some bodily conception fixed in the mind which can be thus applied.
Again, one more verse.
Of course, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form within the temple is not idol worship.
Yeah, that should not be considered as idol. Prabhupada gives a beautiful, somehow I had highlighted this portion, but it is not shown. Yeah. So, but Prabhupada gives a very good example. Yeah.
A crude example uh, may be given here. We may find some mailboxes on the street, and if we post our letter in those boxes, they will naturally go to their destination without difficulty. But any old box or an imitation which we may find somewhere, but which is not authorized by the post office, will not do the work. Similarly, God has an authorized representation in the deity form, which is called Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. God will accept service through that form. The Lord is omnipotent, all powerful, Therefore, by his incarnation as Archa Vigraha, he can accept the services of the devotee just to make it convenient for the man in conditioned life.
Yeah. In our conditioned life, that's why deity worship becomes very easy to relate with the Lord, because we are used to forms in this world. And start with that form and slowly understand Lord's form is not ordinary form. It is Sachidananda Vigraha. So that's why. So Prabhupada gives this box and a mail box, I don't know, because some of you might have never seen in your life. Hopefully everybody knows that letter box is still in India. It is still there. If you go in villages, there is letter boxes, red color, post office boxes. But nowadays, hardly anybody uses them. But still, there are boxes. But nobody puts mails, basically. Mail in the sense here, it's not the emails we are talking about. Mails in the sense, the letters that has been posted. We don't put in any box. We put in the box authorized. Then only it reaches the destination. The point is, we don't worship anything idol, anything just because somebody has carved it. What do you call it? No, we have that right procedures of prana pratishtha, where the great souls have come, where they invite. There are vidhis as per this they are invited, and that's how the Lord is worshipped. So and that makes very convenient for the this thing also to easy. Okay, please continue to read this also.
There is no doubt that the impersonalists are unnecessarily taking a troublesome path with the risk of not realizing the absolute truth at the ultimate end. But the personalist, without any risk, trouble, or difficulty, approaches the Supreme Personality directly. A similar passage appears in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is stated there that if one ultimately has to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this surrendering process is called bhakti, but instead takes the trouble to understand what is Brahman and what is not Brahman and spent his whole life in that way, the result is simply troublesome. Therefore, it is advised here that one should not take up this troublesome path of self-realization because there is unnecessary
Uncertainty,
uncertainty in the result.
ultimate result, and this also Prabhupada gives very clear. Okay.
Every living soul is partially independent, and one should know for certain that this unmanifested realization is against the nature of his spiritual blissful self. One should not take up this process. For every individual living entity, the process of Krishna consciousness, which entails full engagement in devotional service, is the best way. If one wants to ignore this devotional service, there is the danger of turning to atheism. Thus, the process of uh, centering attention on the unmanifested, the inconceivable, which is beyond the approach of the senses, as already expressed in this verse, should never be encouraged at any time, especially in this age. It is not advised by Lord Krishna.
Yeah, so that's why we don't worry so much about that aspect and studying and this thing. Somebody wants to go deeper into what is that and all those, and that is okay. But first, understand the personal aspects very clearly. Don't go as a shopping. I have not realized or I have not done that. So let me figure out. No, first, understand your path very easily. Practice is very nicely. And whatever is required. And ultimately, how many paths we can try to understand throughout our small lifespan that is there. And anyway, Bhakti path has been most authorized, very wonderful. Even if you can practice throughout life, that itself is sufficient. But Prabhupada is very strongly saying here, see, should never be encouraged at any time, especially in this age. It is not advisable by Lord Krishna. He is his representative, making it very clear. Now you see, same thing, sixth and seventh. Now he will talk about, just like he talked about in third, fourth, and fifth one. He said he says about bhakti, how wonderful it is, and the glorious aspects of Bhakti. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyeva yogena mam dhyanto upasate teshanaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Beautiful verse. Okay. Yes. Akshay Khatale.
Translation: But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engage in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
See, this is the beauty what Krishna is saying. Ye to sarvani karma. One who has given up all his activities, unto me, here Prabhupada says. Sanyasya matpara, for me. By then, but he continues to worship me, meditating upon me. By what? By the process of ananya. Not with any other process, with the process of pure devotion service. One of the meaning. This is the same Ananyaiva Yogena, Ananya Bhakti. All of us know Ananya Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, all that. So he says that not following any other process, only Shuddha Bhakti process. So what will happen for them? What will be their destination? Tesham aham samudharata. I myself, he himself takes the full charge. How long which will take? No, Bhavami, not Chirat Par. Chirat is very long. No, not very long time. Very short time. I will take him from Mrityu Samsara Saparat, ocean of material existence, ocean of birth and death. Why? Because Maya Veshita Chetasa. They are completely absorbed in me. So that's why they are completely fixed in me. So very beautiful. Okay, please read.
But it is explicitly stated here that the devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from the material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya.
Yeah, there are only two things. Either you be in Maya or you be with Krishna. Simple. There's no third thing. Prabhupada used to say that. Of course, yeah, Prabhupada also elaborates. Yeah, Prabhupada, please read.
The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay he will deliver a pure devotee, thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process, and others take the opportunity in various ways. But as far as the devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated here that the Lord Himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky.
Because in the 8th chapter, we saw that there are different paths, the path of light and path of darkness. So, and the yogis can choose their time of departure and all that things. But Krishna says for the devotee, he doesn't have to figure out the path. He doesn't have to worry about anything, time, anything. He has to just continue. Just continue, fix upon me. There's a beautiful verse from Varaha Purana in this verse. Nayami paramam sthanam archiradigatim vina Garuda skandam aropya yatecham anivarita. See, my words are unchecked. That's what the Lord is saying. Anivarita. My ichha, my desire is unchecked. Why? Because nayami param. I bring them to my abode. How do I bring them to my param abode? Garuda skandam aropya. Putting on the back of Garuda, I bring them. They don't have to figure out Archir, Adi Gatim, the different paths, whether to go by the path of light or other paths which the yogis figure out. No, 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 no. I myself will come. Garuda, what beautiful verse. Garuda skandham aropya. Oh, I come upon what do you call? Come upon Garuda and take him back, riding. Take him back. Means himself. There's a beautiful picture in if you've gone to ISKCON Kolkata temple and many places. The devotee is what you call raising his hands, and Lord comes in Garuda, and in the ocean the devotee is raising. So the beautiful picture is there if you've seen from the PPT. Yeah, please continue to read.
The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. That responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord Himself. He clearly states here that He Himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely for, cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by a yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by His great mercy, comes at once and riding on his bird carrier Garud, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from this material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths.
Yeah, compared to other paths, sometimes for us the path of devotional service itself is also very difficult. But if you understand that other paths are much more difficult, then in contrast with other paths, you can understand bhakti is much more easy. And it is actually susukam kartam avyam and sulabham also. It's very easy. So, yes, it is difficult basically. Simple for the simple, complex for the complex. That's what it is. You see. So, yeah. So one should be, Prabhupada is so nicely saying, one simply has to practice this easy path of Bhagavad. I've seen that devotees, many of them don't understand Bhagavad Gita. And the people, those who are not so intellectual in that sense, not able to understand. Just by reading Prabhupada, they understand we have to chant the holy names. We have to, what do you call, practice some rules and regulations in our life. There are devotees, I have met devotees. And I said, where do you? He said, I just was in a frustrating, we have a devotee in our voice. He said, so frustrating in my life. He said, I just know that somebody just told me to read Gita. So I don't know. I just picked up from Amazon, started reading it. Two things I came to know that, okay, I have to chant the holy name and how to follow the four regulative principles. I just came to know from that. Bhakti ji, mujhe pata nahi, but this much I have to do, that much it is very clear to me. So that's how easy is. Sometimes after reading some other commentaries of Bhagavad Gita, also people do not understand what to do. What to do. It becomes the names of the chapters itself sometimes very tongue twisting. How it is related to my life. The beauty is purpose is like they quickly touch you, understand to the essence. Yeah. Yeah, simply chanting the holy names can easily approach the destination, all that things. One should give up all other process of self-realization, simply execute devotional service in Krishna consciousness. This will enable one to reach the highest perfection. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life because the Supreme Lord will take charge of him. Yes. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in spiritual realization. Yeah, let everyone take shelter of the Supreme. That is the highest perfection. Yes. So this is the thing. The superiority of bhakti has been established here when compared to the personal aspect. So, like that. Now, from 8 to 12, let's talk about the simplicity. If someone says, let us say that, okay, what do you call, since bhakti is the best, please perform only bhakti. So Krishna says this. Yes, so that's how he gives the verses from 8 through 12. So, but like in the previous chapters or Bhakti Yoga section, someone may get doubt that, okay, but am I qualified to practice bhakti? Because the stage of bhakti, like Nitya Yukto Upasate, always think of Krishna, but that itself is also not possible for me. One may think, oh, I'm not qualified for bhakti also. So can I take some other processes and then come slowly to bhakti? No, Krishna here says, no need to go anywhere. Even in practicing bhakti, there are multiple layers. That is the multiple layers. That's why the layer 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. 12th, he will give somebody who don't have Shraddha and Bhakti only. So that will be his, even for them, he gives great hope. So what to speak of it? So these verses is talking about. Of course, that does not mean that Krishna's, now Prabhu, this is the first time I came to know that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is throwing the rope so low. So let me cast first the lowest one. No. For us, we have been much more awarded. So these are famous verses, 8 through 12. And this verse, we'll try to see. Mayeva manadatsva, my buddhim niveshaya, nivashishyasi mayeva, atha urdhvam na samshaya. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Shantanu Prabhu, can you read?
Translation. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt.
Yeah. So this is one of the famous verses of Gita. It has a great historical background. That Srila Yamunacharya, he was the, what do you call it? He's Sri Sampradaya Acharya. He's also considered the Manasik Guru of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So I'm not going into the historical background, but he was, right from his childhood, he was, what do you call, in the Gurukul, he has heard Bhagavad Gita. He has studied it under the guidance of his Guru. Always devotional and all this. But yes, at certain point of time, his Guru was challenged by one scholar, Kolahal in South India. Basically, he's from Madurai. So when he was challenged, and then his Guru Guru was not there. So Yamunacharya at his very early age, maybe 8, 10 or 8, 12, something like that, he took the challenge. And in that, if somebody defeats this Kolahal, the scholar, then he will be, the king and the queen had their, what do you call, stakes upon who will win. So in that, Yamunacharya at that early age, he won, and he got half of the dynasty, half of the king's property. And that's how he became a ruler and went on to become the great king. And then that's Alabandara, they say that, that the king Yamunacharya. So, and while doing that, so what has happened is because he has taken that role of king and started conquering, started earning more wealth, that center, more property, more area, everything, he lost in touch with devotional service. So, but there was his grandfather, Nath Muni, who was in his deathbed. At that time, he was like concerned about his grandson always. So he calls one of his disciples, Ram Mishra. So he tells him, my only desire is if you can bring back Yamuna on the path of bhakti. So that was his last desire. And that's how Ram Mishra, to fulfill the desire of his guru, Nath Muni, so he over a period of time, what do you call, sneaks into the what do you call kingdom through different means. It's a long story, but cut it short. Finally, he comes in touch with Yamunacharya, and then Rameshwar says that your grandfather has left a great wealth. He said, wealth? I'm a king. I need to, yes, I need so much of wealth for my functioning and everything. He said, yeah, but that wealth, uh, everybody, I mean, you cannot, okay, let me take my kingdom, and let me take my soldiers and come. He said, no, no, this is a special, and you alone have to come. This is a wealth which has been protected by snake, protected by 7 doors, protected by the 2 rivers. So he describes them. Is it? Yeah, it is. So nobody can go. So you come alone. So while going alone, walking all the way towards that place, Rameshra speaks to him Gita's verses every day. And when he comes to this verse, Mayeva manadatsva, my buddhi nivashishyasi mayeva, adhavatam ashamshaya. Yamanacharya remembers his childhood activities. That my mind, my intelligence, everything have been absorbed in Krishna. And I've been completely gone away, diverted, deviated from this path. So that everything came to his memory. So when he tells to Ram Mishra, he practically sheds tears. And he says, Ram Mishra, please keep going. And I don't even want this wealth. He gets such renunciation, he gets such attraction towards Krishna that he feels that, what I've done with my life, I was completely involved in sense gratification. So this verse is the most turning point of his life. When he hears this verse, it hits him so much deeply in his heart. Ram Mishra, but still we have come this far. So at least let me show you the wealth that your grandfather has left. And that's how they both go actually. And then from between the 2 rivers, that is the famous place of Srirangam. There is Kaveri River, which splits in two and almost makes an island at that place. There are 7 gates, that is the 7 walls of the temple. We find that. So passes 7. Then inside, all of us know the beautiful what you call sanctum of Ranganathji is there, who's protected by the so many multi-coated. When he sees the beautiful eyed Lord, lotus-eyed Lord of Sri Ranganath, he sheds tears, understands that what Nath Muni has left is actually the wealth for him. So just this verse of Bhagavad Gita has changed his course of direction of his life. And that's how immediately after this, he gives up his kingdom, distributes to his sons and everybody. And then his renunciation that was there for right childhood, all that what he has read. So he went on to become, takes sannyas, takes everything, takes sannyas, and went on to become the Acharya in Sri Sampradaya. And so it's beautiful. So many verses are there where we get to hear. Prabhupada also quotes his verses. Many verses. Stotaratna, that is one of the famous books. That is. So this verse carries great weight. Yeah. So now, Mayeva mana adasva, my buddhim nivesha. He said that. Now Krishna is telling this. Absorb or fix your mind in me. That is one thing. Fix your intelligence. Put your intelligence upon me. That's what apply your intelligence upon me. And in this way, when your mana is with me, when your buddhi is with me, sure shot, you will come to me. And there is no doubt of it. And it's true, right? We are where our mind is. We are where our intelligence thinks of. So then that's what is consciousness. It is this. Of this, there is no doubt. For us, yes, we are having the material body now currently. But the problem is the subtle body is not yet Krishna conscious. Bodily, maybe many of the activities are, but the most important in order to get rid of this material existence, the subtle body has to get purified. Because subtle body is a cause of gross body. So yes, surely. So that's the whole homework of this what do you call practice of devotional service is what do you call bringing the mind, because the mind has a nature. By nature, mind is like the sponge. Wherever you put it, it soaks. If you put it in water, it soaks water. If you put it in some other liquid, it just soaks it. Similarly, now that is physically very easy to understand, but we can understand where our mind goes, wherever it is soaked into, wherever it is attached to. It is very easily it goes in. Similarly, the buddhi, it also we apply for it according to the absorption of the mind. So absorption of the mind is actually given greater importance. So that's how it is. So here it is referring to actually the pure devotees. Those whose mind, mayeva manat, so always, whose buddhi is always in worship. So that has been. So it is talking about practically raga anuga bhakti. That smaranatmika and what do you call it? Mananatmika. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur said that Mananatmika means the man is completely absorbed. Smaranatmika means the buddhi is been completely absorbed. Now, but we are having struggle with it. So immediately, once because we are having struggle with this, so Krishna immediately lowers down the step and says, "Theek hai, if your man, you are not able to constantly put upon me, your buddhi is not able to constantly do chintan about me in that sense also. So what to do? That's why he gives next immediately the hope for, where is it? Sadhana bhakti. Oh, at least then do abhyaso yogena. That he will talk in the next verse. So here Roberts writes, and more detail is given in the next verse actually about this verse also. So I'm just reading this. Yes. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his infant are dancing about the tongue of the devotee. Okay. Okay. One who's engaged in Lord Krishna's devotion lives in a direct relationship with his members. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live in the material plane. So, because in the sense his body, he may be existing currently, but with the level of, as I said, we are where our mind is. So that's it. Now, proper, it covers up some of the aspects of 8th verse. You will find that. So I'll take one more verse because it is a link. I know it's already 8:15. So if somebody has to leave very urgently, surely Prabhu, you all can leave. But I'll take 5 more minutes in order to cover this section. Okay. Atachittam samadhatum na shaknosi mai stiram abhyasa yoge tato yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. Okay. Yeah. Tanmay Prabhu, are you there? Okay, Karuna Brajesh too wants to read it.
Yes, sir.
Can you read?
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. And this way, develop a desire to attain me.
Yeah. So this is another important. So he said, Atachitta Samadha. Nashakno Shema Istiram. Okay, not possible for you to put your chitta, in the sense, observe your mind as is previously, or put your intelligence constantly in me. That is talking about. Raga means what? Raga Bhakti, constant thought, very natural thought. For us, our mind, we have to endeavor to fix. That's why we are in the sadhana bhakti. Mind naturally goes for, at least my mind naturally goes for sense gratification, even when I'm performing devotion service. So it's a task practically. So the endeavor is there. That's why abhyasa yoga is not different from sadhana. We are endeavoring to perform sadhana because so in that sadhana, one important element is there, ichha. This is most important. So even when we are practicing sadhana bhakti in our life, it's not that throughout life I will chant Hare Krishna Prabhu, follow 4 regulative principles. Oh, the most crucial element in that is there should be ichha. Why I am chanting? There should be ichha. Why I am ready to follow 4 regulative principles? For no reason? No, in order to attain Krishna. Why I am ready to render service? Because what to do? Everybody is doing, let me also do. It's a group activity. No. In all this activity, the ichha is so that my mind, my intelligence over a period of time completely get absorbed in Krishna. So that's why Krishna is saying, just abhyas yogena tato ma means what? There should be ichha constantly while even performing sadhana bhakti. That ichha is very important. Ichha for Krishna should be there. Otherwise, if we just do all these things, but there is no ichha for Krishna, what is the use? It will tend to become more mechanical. When ichha is there, that will be the fuel. Your desire is there. Oh, I happily want to chant the holy name. Why? It will please Krishna. I want to happily render service because it will please Krishna. That ichha to please somebody is there. You see, somebody has that ichha to please somebody automatically. Okay, you don't. The pleasing object doesn't want this, so one is ready to do. Okay, you don't want this to be done. I will not do. Why? Because in my austerity, in my tapasya, to give pleasure to you is more important. That's why sadhana bhakti can become sometimes for somebody it's more troublesome because the ichha, where is your ichha? Even when you are practicing, if the ichha is sense gratification, but on external level I'm practicing, surely it will be troublesome. But if ichha is towards Krishna, surely it will take us towards Krishna. So that's what. See. Okay, please read this.
In this verse, 2 different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated.
In this verse,
The first,
two processes of bhakti is defined. Anyone? Or how many processes of bhakti is defined? Yeah, Sumit Kumar.
Suji, I think here it is written about the previous verse also, because Krishna said that you should.
That's why I told you in the beginning, if you are hearing carefully, that's why I told something is going to come. Prabhupada is just giving context. Here only one Abhyasa Yoga is, but Prabhupada will immediately when you read next. That's why I just, okay.
The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love.
This is referring to what?
Devotional service.
Yeah, this is referring to devotional, surely, no doubt.
Yeah.
But referring to what? Yes, Sumit Kumar.
Is engaging our mind and intelligence.
Engaging our mind.
Senses.
Mayeva manadatsva, my buddhi niveshya. And how is that, you see? Who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna. It's a natural attachment was developed by transcendental love. Okay.
And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love.
This is referring to what? Yeah, Anil Sahu.
The other one.
This verse, Sadhana Bhakti verse, Abhyas Yogena.
Abhyasa Yogena. Means one was not developed, but one is endeavoring.
Practicing.
Okay. Yes. Now you
For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to.
Means what? If you cannot do 8th verse, then do 9th verse. But the purpose is to reach what? 8th verse. That is the meaning. That is the meaning. That is what it is. And what are the prescribed rules and regulations for one who has not, what do you call it? For one who is in Abhyasa Yoga? Anyone? Yes. Is there anybody else apart from Sumit Kumar? Yeah, Deepak Sutar.
Yeah, the 64 limbs of devotion.
Wonderful. Okay.
Hearing, chanting, and
yes,
following the 4 regulative principles.
Exactly. Just chanting and following the 4 regulative principles. In one sense, yes. And deeper if you go, sure. All that Bhakti Rasamrita Siddha. That is what it is. It is prescribed for us. That is our abhyas. That is our sadhana. And that are the rules and regulations that we are told to follow. And that is purpose of sadhana is what? Purpose of sadhana bhakti is what? Anyone? Yes, Anil Sahu.
He attained to Krishna.
Yeah, it's there.
Ichha with desire.
Yeah, that is also true. I agree with you. Ultimately, we are doing for Krishna. Yes. Okay, Brajesh, Karuna, you yourself. Karuna, Brajesh.
For developing love towards Krishna, whatever we are practicing, with love and devotion, we can.
Yeah. You're all right in the ultimate sense. Sadhana bhakti is meant to take you to the stage of bhava bhakti. Till bhava it will take you. That you'll read more in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, no worries. But you are correct, your answers are not wrong. You see, ultimately one has to come for love for Krishna. But where sadhana, one has comes to bhava bhakti, it takes you to bhava bhakti. Now that is what it is. Attachment to Krishna, deeper attachment. And that bhava will take one to prema. Sure. Bhava is the initial sun ray of, the initial rays of the sun of bhakti, you can say. Okay, please read this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is this abhyas? Now, when Bhakti Yoga word is used, this is referring to the current abhyas.
Bhakti Yoga is the purification of the senses. At the present moment in the material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in the sense gratification. But by practice of Bhakti Yoga, these senses can become purified. And in the purified state, they come directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But for spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service performed with the present senses.
Yeah. So this is what it is currently we all are in.
To practice the regulative principles of
The
Bhakti
Prabhupada
Yoga.
is just
Yeah.
telling what is that practice of regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga one has to do. Everybody is aware of it, but Prabhupada is making very clear. We are just reading. Yeah.
To practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna, then collect flowers to offer to the deity, cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow, and one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God, and then he is sure of his progress into spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations with the direction of the spiritual master will surely bring one to the stage of love of God.
Yeah.
Love of God.
Yes. So this is third. Next, Krishna will say, even if you cannot do this, then do something. That he will say. And then he will say in the 10th verse, even you cannot do that, at least do that. Like that, he goes down. So for us, the limit is here. We are already at the verse, means we are already of the practitioners of 12th line. We should not think of going down. There, Krishna is telling in Gita. But for those who are practitioners of this thing, our stage is this. We are supposed to practice verse number 9 or sadhana bhakti very nicely in order to reach 8. Not for study, we will study tomorrow. What is 8, what is 10th, and what is 11th. But that is not for our practice. Please try to understand. Okay, I'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. I'm sorry, I shot up by 11, 12 minutes. Any questions? Yeah. Yes. Anil.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
There's a small question actually, because we see in this verse actually in 8th verse you told that Raganuga Bhakti is preferable. In the 9th verse coming to the Sadhana Bhakti and telling in 10th, 11th also, we're not able to do this, do this, do this. But the section you give the name as the progressive stage of Bhakti. Progressive matlab like upward we are going, but here we seeing the downward.
Yeah, but you see from downward, it will be progressive, right? If you say stairs, you say progress. If you are on the, let us say, you are on the stairs above, and you are saying these stairs are progressing. What does it mean? Progressing downward or progressing upward?
If I am in top, then it will.
Whether you are on top or you're down. Usually, when you are on top, I'm saying, and you are seeing the stairs down. These stairs are progressive. Progressive. When I say, what does it mean? Anybody?
So progressing on the top. No?
Is that you will feel? If you feel like that, I don't have any issue. Anybody else? When you're standing on the stairs above and there are steps down, these stairs are progressing. What does it mean? Okay, nobody understood. That's progressively coming towards yeah, figure bro.
Ultimately, it will come to that stage only. So
Yeah, where you are standing, so you are progressing towards that. The steps are coming and progressing towards you. So when Krishna is telling that thing first, and just he is telling about lower stages, so it is progressive or not?
yes, Pradeep.
Don't go by verses. वही तो बोलता हूँ, don't go by verses thinking that first verse तो सबसे नीचा दिखाना चाहिए. So you want to say that Krishna toppled it and would have given 11th verse first, 10th verse. Why do you expect like that? That's why that is our understanding. Many of the times we, whatever way we see things, we want to see whether Krishna is seeing that thing. Hare, study is how Krishna looks at it, how Krishna wants us to look at it. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I go. Okay, we shall stop here. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada.